Oh, hey everyone. So I am still working on that beef venison mixture, but I didn't have enough to make another 7 full quarts easily. I have 7 quarts over there on the countertop. You can't see it even in the video, that I will be canning here shortly. But because I didn't have enough, I decided to change it up. So I canned potatoes the other day, but I had 3 pint jars that I never got canned. So why not take those 3 pint jars, put them in to the beef venison mixture, and then that's about half a jar per mixture. Push them down in, and then we're going to take some carrots and put them on top, and we're going to create a beef stew in the jar. The beef is already cooked in the jar. That's okay. The potatoes and the carrots will cook under pressure, and that's wonderful. You'll be canning these for 90 minutes anyhow, because these are quart jars. You always go by the densest thing that needs to be canned, so 90 minutes is for the meat. Normally potatoes are 40 minutes, and I am not even sure what carrots are off the top of my head for quarts. But since I'm doing the meat, these will be 90 minutes, and that will cook these carrots and potatoes in the jar. I am probably also going to add a little bit of beef bouillon seasoning, which I don't normally do, but I want that flavor in these jars, so I am going to do that. But you can then utilize things and do things a little differently than you would normally. This just gives us another option in the long run for our pantry. And since I had plenty of meat, but not quite enough to do 7 full jars, this is actually 6 jars worth, which is plenty. This gives us, for John and I, a meal. 1 jar is a meal, and then we have something for those nights where we don't want to cook. So now that I've got the carrots, potatoes, and meat in the jar, I'm going to add about a teaspoon's worth of bouillon. I don't normally do this, but this time I am, because I want this flavor. And I'm being very careful because I'm very low on bouillon, so that's why I'm not adding a ton. So there you go. Now I'm going to add broth to the 1-inch line. So the 1-inch line is this rim right here. When you get up close and personal, it's this rim. So that's where we're gonna go. This is the broth that I pulled off the meat that I was working on. And then we will use our handy dandy canning knife and make sure all the air bubbles are out before we can it. So once I've got my broth in, I'm gonna take my canning knife and I'm simply going to push down, get any air bubbles out, and then we will top off, because usually the liquid goes down like that one very significantly. So we're going to top off with a little bit more beef broth. So now we're just topping off the beef broth that we need, get it back up to that 1-inch line, and then we'll be ready for the next step. Now this time when you go to wipe your rims, you need to make sure you wipe them really good, because I know these are a hot mess. You don't need to worry about the sides, because guess what? You're going to wash the jars after they come out of the canner. So that's not as essential as the rims. Wipe your rims really good, put your lid on, put your ring on, and then you're going to get ready to put them in the canner. Next, you're going to put 3 quarts. I'm using warm water because my jars are warm. They are not hot, they're not cold, but 3 quarts of water into the canner. I also do 2 drops of white vinegar. This keeps your jars from getting white on the outside. That's all that's for. So if you forget it, you'll just have calcium build up on your jars. Then we're going to place our jars into the canner. So once you get your jars, I have 6 quarts. That beef, and you're going to place your lid, twist it on nice and tight. We're going to get the burner going, and then we will have this venting here for 10 minutes. Before we put the stopper on and start the pressure. So once you see and hear steady stream coming out of your vent, set your timer for 10 minutes. So once the timer goes off, we're going to put the weight on and turn the timer until that steam. And both of these went off at the same time. So we have both pots ready to go. Now we're going to wait till the pressure gets to 10 to 11, and then we'll set our timer for 90 minutes for both of these. You can see this pressure is up slightly already. So once the timer goes off, you're going to want to turn off the burner, and then you're going to want to move your pressure canner off the stove onto a hot pad somewhere else. And now we're just going to let it sit here. We're going to let the pressure gauge go down. We're going to just let it all cool down, just sitting here for however long it takes. So now that these are cool, we're gonna take the weights off, and we're gonna set them aside, and then we are going to turn the handles and lift very carefully, because sometimes it's still really warm inside, and you don't want to cause extra stress on the jars. And we're gonna let these kind of cool out for a couple minutes, maybe 15-20 minutes before I take the lid completely off and put the jars on the countertop. So now these have cooled down enough that I can pull the lids off, and then I can remove the containers to the countertop. So these jars are still hot, so you're going to want to use a jar puller in order to get them out of here. But look how gorgeous that beef stew looks in that jar. That canned up gorgeous. But that's how it's done. This is Kelly signing off from Yellowknife Homestead. You have a great day.